For most of human history, the end of the world was something people feared in myths, prophecies, and religious texts. But in the modern age, the end of the world came down to something far more ordinary. A computer screen, a blinking warning light, and one man deciding whether or not to believe a machine. This is the true story of how the world came closer to nuclear war than almost anyone realizes, and how it was stopped not by policy, diplomacy, or technology, but by human doubt. In the early 1980s, the Cold War was at its most dangerous point in decades. The United States and the Soviet Union were locked in a permanent state of mistrust. Each side believed the other was not only capable of launching a nuclear attack, but actively preparing for one. Missiles sat in underground silos, armed and ready. Submarines drifted silently beneath the oceans, carrying enough firepower to destroy entire continents. Both sides knew one thing for certain. If nuclear war began, there would be no second chances. And because nuclear missiles could reach their targets in minutes, neither side could afford to hesitate. The entire system was built on speed. Detect the launch, confirm the threat, respond immediately. This philosophy had a name: mutually assured destruction. If one side fired, the other would fire back automatically. Not because they wanted to, but because hesitation meant extinction. To make this possible, both nations increasingly relied on early warning systems. Satellites, radars, computers. Machines that never slept. Machines that never hesitated. Machines that were never supposed to be wrong. On September 26, 1983, deep inside a Soviet military command bunker, one of those machines sounded the alarm. A warning light flashed. According to the Soviet satellite system, the United States had just launched a nuclear missile. Then another. Then another. 5 intercontinental ballistic missiles were detected, rising from American soil. This was not a drill. The system was designed to report only one thing: an attack. The officer on duty that night was Lieutenant Colonel Stanislav Petrov. Petrov was not a politician. He was not a general. He was not a man with the authority to launch a counterstrike. But he was the man responsible for reporting what the system showed. If he reported the alert as real, the information would move up the chain of command within seconds, and the Soviet Union would likely respond with a full nuclear launch of its own. Petrov stared at the screen. 5 missiles. That detail immediately troubled him. If the United States were launching a first strike, it would not fire 5 missiles. It would fire hundreds. A real attack would aim to overwhelm defenses, eliminate leadership, and ensure retaliation was impossible. 5 missiles made no strategic sense. But the computer insisted. The satellites insisted. The warning system was doing exactly what it was built to do. And Petrov had minutes, possibly seconds, to decide. This is where most disaster movies get it wrong. The moment was not loud. There were no explosions, no dramatic countdown clocks, just a room full of officers waiting for one man to speak. Petrov later described the feeling as sitting on a hot frying pan. He knew that if he was wrong, millions of people could die because he hesitated. And if he was right, millions could die because he didn't. The system had been wrong. He reported the alert as a false alarm. Not because he had proof, not because the computer shut itself off, but because something about it didn't feel right. Minutes passed. No missiles arrived, no detonations, no confirmation from ground-based radar. What caused the false alert was both simple and terrifying. The Soviet satellites mistook reflections of sunlight off high-altitude clouds for missile launches. The system had never encountered that specific alignment of conditions before, and no one had fully considered that it might. The technology worked perfectly. It just misunderstood reality. Petrov was not celebrated. He was not promoted. In fact, he was reprimanded. His superiors were embarrassed that the system had failed. Admitting how close the world came to disaster would have raised uncomfortable questions. So the incident was buried, classified, forgotten, for years. What makes this moment truly unsettling is not that the system failed. It's that the system worked exactly as designed. It detected a pattern. It followed its logic. It did what it was told. The only reason the world didn't end that night is because one human being questioned the output of a machine. This was not the only time. During the Cold War, multiple false alarms occurred on both sides. Radar glitches, training tapes loaded by mistake, weather balloons mistaken for bombers. Each time disaster was avoided not by technology, but by people choosing not to trust it completely. Today, the world relies on automated systems more than ever. Artificial intelligence monitors markets. Algorithms manage infrastructure. Automated defenses react faster than humans can think. Speed is still valued over hesitation, efficiency over doubt. But the lesson of 1983 remains. Machines are excellent at following rules. They are terrible at understanding context. Stanislav Petrov once said that he did nothing special, that he was just in the right place at the wrong time. But history suggests otherwise. He made a decision that no system could have made for him. He paused, he questioned, he accepted uncertainty. And because of that, the world continued. History is often shaped by great leaders, sweeping movements, and powerful machines. But sometimes it turns on something far quieter. A man in a room, a blinking light, and the courage to say, "This doesn't make sense." If you want more hidden moments where history nearly took a very different path, this is Fascinating Facts and Features. And this was one of the times the world survived, because someone didn't trust the computer.